This presentation is by the group RCAA at 1 with the name of members listed on the slide. This presentation is being done for the refresher course on astronomy and astrophysics that was conducted by IUCAA in the duration 10th May 2021 to 11 June 2021. The presentation is titled Detection of Gravitational Waves, and Dr. Suma will be going to do the presentation on behalf of the group RCAA at 1. So, without wasting time, I would like to invite Dr. Suma to please do the presentation. Dr. Suma.
Today's topic is detection of gravitational waves. I am Dr. Sumabai Casey, presenting on behalf of the group RCAA at 1. The motivation to do this presentation by our group was that when LIGO announced the first detection of gravitational waves in 2015, the scientific community all over the world were very much excited to hear that announcement. And the excitement doubled when 2017 Nobel Prize was announced in physics, which was shared by Barry C. Barish and Kip Stone from Caltech and Rainer Weiss from MIT. Now, coming to the topic, what are gravitational waves? They are ripples in space-time produced by the violent events in cosmos, like collisions and mergers of massive compact stars like binary stars, black holes, and neutron stars. It was predicted by Einstein in 1916 through his general theory of relativity, but we could detect the waves only after a century, that is in 2015. Even though the gravitational waves are not electromagnetic radiations, they travel with the speed of light. They also carry information about their cataclysmic origin and about the nature of gravity. Why we detect gravitational waves? The gravitational waves are not electromagnetic radiations, so they weakly interact with matter, providing the undistorted information about the universe. It also improves our ability to locate exact positions of the gravitational sources on the sky and estimate their physical properties more accurately. It also opens up a new area of gravitational wave astronomy, just like visible astronomy, infrared astronomy, radio astronomy. Like that, it will open a new area of astronomy. Now we will see the sources and types of gravitational waves. What are the sources of gravitational waves and what are the different types of gravitational waves? First, we will see the continuous gravitational waves produced by a spinning massive single object like a neutron star. If the spin rate of the star remains constant, these waves have constant frequency and amplitude, hence we call it as continuous gravitational wave. The second type is compact binary in spiral, produced by the orbiting of pairs of massive dense objects. There are three types: binary neutron star, that is two neutron star correlation, then binary black hole, that is black hole merger, and neutron star black hole merger. Now this is the binary black hole merger was detected by LIGO first in 2015. And neutron star merger in 2017. The third type is a stochastic gravitational waves. They are the smallest gravitational waves passing all over the universe in random direction. They are very weak and they are very difficult to detect. But if we can detect these waves, it will give very much information about the Big Bang. The fourth one is the burst gravitational waves, that is unexpected and unmodeled signals from the systems which were not known before. This is the black hole merger. There are three stages for this. First one is the in spiral, that is spiraling around each other. The second stage is the merger, And the third stage is the ring down. That is, it is forming a large black hole. By merging two black holes, we are getting a large black hole. That is the third stage. That is a ring down stage. Next is the neutron star coalescence. That is, two neutron stars are merging each other. Here also there is in spiral, then merging, and the ring down, which produces large gravitational wave signals. Now we are moving on to LIGO. What is LIGO? It is Laser Interferometer Gravitational Observatory, which consists of two 4-kilometer arms at right angles to each other, through which a laser beam is passed, and they are reflected by the test masses or mirrors at each end. The three characteristics that distinguish LIGO from an astronomical observatory is, first one, they are blind. That means they cannot detect electromagnetic radiations, just like visible, radio, and ultraviolet astronomy, because gravitational waves are not electromagnetic radiations, so they don't have to detect the electromagnetic radiation. Second thing is opposite of round. That is, they don't have to receive electromagnetic radiations from galaxies and faraway stars. So it does not possess eyes. Instead, it possesses ears. That is 4-kilometer long array is acting as the ears for detecting the gravitational waves. And the third one is cannot function alone. A single observatory or single detector cannot differentiate the vibrations from the local seismic vibrations and the gravitational signals. So minimum 2 detectors are necessary to evaluate the gravitational wave signal. So the 2015 event was detected by 2 detectors, one at Hanford in Washington and other at Livingston, that is in Louisiana. So these 2 detectors detected the first event. We can see the 4-kilometer arrays. Now, what are interferometers? Why we use interferometers? When a gravitational wave passes by, the space causes the arms of the interferometer alternately to lengthen and shrink. So there will be a path difference between the 2 waves, which leads to a phase difference, and we will get an interference pattern. And this pattern we are analyzing to detect the gravitational waves. The difference between the arm lengths or the path difference is proportional to the gravitational wave signal. We refer to it as gravitational wave strain. Typically, the gravitational wave strain is expected to be about 1 by 10,000 the width of a proton. So you can imagine how much weak the gravitational wave signal will be. So we have to use very sensitive instruments to measure the gravitational waves, and LIGO is one such very sensitive instrument. Now we'll see what are the characteristics of LIGO's interferometer. It is basically a dual recycled Fabry-Perot-Michelson interferometer. We have all studied Michelson's interferometer. So what are the features that distinguish from basic Michelson's interferometer? First one is a 4-kilometer long Fabry-Perot cavity to store laser light for a longer period and increase the distance traversed by the beam from 4 kilometer to, by multiple reflections between the mirrors, we can increase the distance up to 1,120 kilometers. The second point is power boosted laser to improve the resolution of the signal. And third one is a signal recycling mirrors to enhance the output signal. The fourth point is a seismic isolation system to differentiate the gravitational wave signals from the ground-based noise. We can see the LIGO detector here, the laser beam, the power recycling mirror, Now this is the beam splitter. The laser beam passes, it reaches the beam splitter and it splits into two. You can see the 4-kilometer Fabry-Perot cavity at 90 degrees. In between these mirrors, the laser undergoes multiple reflections and it travels about 1,120 kilometers. Now, when the gravitational signal passes by, there will be a change in length of the two arms. So there will be a path difference, which leads to a phase difference of the signal, and there is an interference pattern when it reaches it back, and we can detect it using a photodetector. So the difference in path length between these two arms will be the measure of the gravitational wave strain. Now, the difference between advanced LIGO and initial LIGO. Initially, the LIGO detector could not receive any gravitational signal. So an advanced LIGO was proposed. The difference between these two are, in advanced LIGO, we are using a larger, heavier fused silica test masses to reduce the random motions of mirrors. Initially, there was some difficulty in identifying or moving the mirrors. The second point is suspending the test masses by silica fibers instead of metal fibers to reduce the thermal noise. So in advanced LIGO, we use silica fibers to reduce the thermal noise. Now, suspending the test masses by 4-stage pendulum called quad to improve the seismic isolation. So to improve the signal from the ground-based noise, we are using a 4-stage pendulum called quad. Next point is the increased laser power to reduce the main source of high frequency noise, and using an active measure and cancel strategy to reduce the impact of ground-based noise. The LIGO technology mainly includes seismic isolation, which can be divided into two categories, active and passive damping. In active damping, which consists of sensors that sense the ground movements and perform counteractions to eliminate them. Second is a passive one. Here we are using the quad, the 4-pendulum system, which consists of main chain and reaction masses. They absorb the movement and cancel by which cannot be cancelled by the active system. The second point is ultra high vacuum. So you have to create very high vacuum. The atmospheric pressure is 1 trillionth that of sea level to reduce the noise caused by air molecules and to prevent the scattering of beam caused by the dust particles. So we have to create a very high vacuum in those interferometers. Now the third point is the optic system. 200-watt laser produced from a 4-watt incident beam by a 4-step amplification procedure. We are using a non-polar ring oscillator and a high-powered oscillator to improve the laser system. This is the quad system consisting of 4 pendulums. The first 2 metal masses are acting as first and second pendulum, and the third one, that is a penultimate mass, which is acting as a third pendulum. And the fourth mass, this is a test mass that we are using, which is acting as the fourth pendulum, and they are all suspended using a 0.4 millimeter fused silica fibers. I'm not going to the details of this system. Now, how we will compute and analyze the data collected from the gravitational source. See, supercomputers at observatories work with terabytes of data every day, and different programs are used to analyze the gravitational wave signal. The output data received at LIGO facilities, that is LIGO Hanford and LIGO Livingston, when the binary black hole merger was made in 2015, and we detect the merger in 2015. This is the signal. So you can see that this is identical. These two are identical at Hanford and Livingston, which are about 3,000 kilometers apart. This is the best fit. So you can see the inspiraling, then merger, and the ring down stage. The 3 stages you can see in both the detectors. So we can easily detect the gravitational wave signals, and we can remove the ground-based noise if we are using 2 or 3 detectors together. Now, the other sister facilities of LIGO are Virgo, which is a gravitational interferometer in Italy, funded by the European Gravitational Wave Observatory. Next is a GEO 600, which is an observatory in Hanover in Germany, and Kagra, which is an underground gravitational wave detector in Japan. Next, we are moving on to the LIGO India, our future project. It's a joint India-US detector, and there are a lot of institutes collaborating with LIGO. That is the Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, IUCA, Rajaramana Center for Advanced Technology, Indore, and Institute of Plasma Research, Ahmedabad, and many more institutes are joining in hand with LIGO to make the LIGO India project. It's a very good project which will attract a lot of Indian students and inspire them to pursue technical and scientific careers there. So very wide opportunities open to the Indian students in LIGO India. Now we are moving on to the future projects. There are a lot of future projects proposed, like Einstein Telescope, LISA, like that. LISA is a laser interferometer space antenna. So we are using ground-based detectors in LIGO, but we cannot detect all the frequency using this ground-based detectors. Very low frequency cannot be measured using this detector. So we are proposing a space antenna, which is located in space. So why LISA? To study the regions of gravitational wave spectrum, that is very low frequencies, 0.1 millihertz to 1 hertz, which are inaccessible from Earth. It consists of 3 spacecrafts spaced over 1 million miles, and they are arranged in an equilateral triangle. That is the LISA project. Now we are moving on to the conclusion. The first detection of gravitational wave signal, GW150914, from binary black hole merger, that is billion light years away from the Earth, took place on 14th September 2015 and was detected by the 2 LIGO detectors at Hanford and Louisiana. The second point is LIGO estimated that gravitational power radiated during the final stage of the black hole merger was 10 times more than the combined light power from all the stars and galaxies in the observable universe. So it was just a beginning. The field of gravitational astronomy has a very bright future, and we have to move a long way to detect the different types of gravitational waves. So there are so many other projects coming, and this field is thank you.